Who doesn't love Ina Garten? Gina and I are huge fans, and today we're going to make a recipe from her that's super easy but really will impress your guests. It is a French apple tart, and it doesn't have that many ingredients, and we're so excited to make it because we know that she likes her stuff fancy.
And there isn't a lot of ingredients because Kat and I are going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to use the puff pastry that's in the frozen aisle. Was I supposed to say that?
Yeah, so she has us making her version, but she also does it her shell. She always buys puff pastry as well. She's like, you know, if you don't have time, you can buy it. They're just as good. So Gina and I are like, that's right. What we're doing.
We do not have time.
Roll it out larger than a 10 by 14. I don't have a ruler, so I'm just going to...
Oh, it's not 14. Ours is a 10 by 10. I am gonna just leave it the way it is. Right, what do we bake this thing in?
You're supposed to lay in some parchment paper, but I'm not going to because my pan is non-stick.
It's fancy.
Yes, a little Williams-Sonoma action. You know, that stuff is expensive. We're gonna stick this in the fridge for a couple minutes while we prep our apples. So while Gina is peeling her apples, let me tell you how we're going to cut these. We're going to cut them in half. Okay, I'm just going to use a spoon to core it out. We need to cut off the ends because Ina says that it looks better if you don't have the stubby parts. So we're going to cut that.
And I cut off the ends. I'm ahead of you.
So she says that we have to cut it crosswise, which is from top to bottom.
Like this?
No. Okay, so this is top to bottom. And we're gonna cut it top to bottom, not side.
I feel like I'm hearing you and we're saying the same thing. Top to bottom. Yes.
Okay, we're just gonna cut. Okay, we're gonna slice them pretty thin, not super thin. I think like a 1/4 of an inch. Okay.
You want to raise?
Yeah.
Really? Done.
Gina won, but that's because I'm a perfectionist. We're going to lay our apples down. You start from the center and then you work your way to the sides. Okay, so our apple slices are all set. The next step, we're going to put a 1/2 cup of sugar all over our apples because we want it to caramelize. So we're just gonna sprinkle over our apples. Okay, it's all sugar. Now we're gonna put in a 1/2 stick of butter. We cut it into little tiny pieces and we're just going to throw them all around. All right, we're gonna stick this in the oven and we'll see you guys back in 1 hour.
Oh, this is pretty. This is gonna be good. You know why I know this is gonna be good? Because when I peeked in the oven, I could see all the butter that had melted onto the pan, and it was just, the pastry was just cooking in the butter.
Do you want to hear what happened to me in the last hour?
Yes, you do want to hear this.
I thought like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna use my flat cookie sheet. It's beautiful, it's non-stick. You heard me talk about it from Williams-Sonoma. Stuck it in the oven and the butter and the sugar started melting and then it fell to the bottom of my oven, which created this smoke, and my fire alarm goes off. My alarm system goes off. I'm optimistic. All right, it's gonna be saved. It's gonna be saved by this apricot jelly that we're going to glaze all over our apple. So let's do this. Please don't do what I did. Use a cooking sheet that has edges on it to keep all your juices in, and you won't have to do what I do. But this is delicious. It's light, but it's like satisfying. It's got a crunch.
So I love seeing the layers of the puff pastry that we got in the frozen aisle. So I highly recommend using it. And Kat, if you remember, I didn't roll mine out. So I say don't roll it out. Just take it out of the box. And then it comes in 2 sheets, so I used a full sheet and then 3/4 of the second sheet, and I think that was about 10 by 14. because you don't want it too thin because it's already thin enough, and you do want some of it to be able to poof a little bit for you. So another successful recipe from Ina Garten, and we recommend you try it at your house. So thanks for joining, and we can't wait to see you next week. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks, bye.